Aloha, I'm Pastor John from Calvary Chapel, Pearl Harbor, here with you this morning for our Go for God devotional. Today we're in Mark chapter 12. We're taking in verses 28 through 31. Jesus encounters a scribe who challenges him with the question, which commandment is the most important of all? Well, Jesus answers, saying, the most important is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these. It's really interesting that Jesus references the Shema from the Old Testament. We find in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4, this is God's command to his chosen people to hear, O Israel, that the Lord, your God, the Lord is one, and to love him with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And then the second is this, he says, to love your neighbor as yourself. You see, the root of our devotion to God begins with love. And God is looking for man to love him first and to love others. And this is how we fulfill all the commandments laid out for us in Scripture. You see, Paul, he reiterates this in Romans chapter 13, verses 9 and 10. He says, for the commandments, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not covet, and any other commandment are summed up in this word. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no wrong to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. And when we look also at the first part of this greatest commandment that Jesus talks about, it begins with loving the Lord our God. And it's no coincidence that in Exodus chapter 20, when Moses is given those tablets of stone and God gives his people the 10 commandments, that the first 4 apply directly to loving God. You see, if we love God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, we're not going to have any other gods before him. We're not going to create any idols or any graven image. We're not going to take his name in vain, and we'll make sure to keep the Sabbath holy. And as I had just read a second ago, if we love one another, if we love our neighbors, we'll fulfill the rest of those 6 commandments. We're not going to steal, cheat, murder, and lie, and covet. But instead, we will follow God as we walk in obedience, as we learn, and as we grow in our love for him and our love for others. We can obey God without loving him, but if we love him, then that obedience will follow. That obedience will come naturally, and it will be less burdensome. And so I challenge you this week to love God. Find ways where you can increase your love for him. Maybe it's getting into his word and spending time in prayer. Maybe it's worshiping and worshiping personally on your own or with the gathered church. Spending time in his creation, recognizing that everything that was made by him and out of his love for us. So as we love him, we're able to keep his commandments, and that is the greatest commandment, is to love the Lord our God and to love one another. So God bless you. Have a great week in the Lord. Take care and go for God.